Welcome everybody to a special edition breaking news. VBC, Volumetric Building Company's Vaughan Buckley will be joining us announcing the final stages of a $25 million bankruptcy acquisition of Katerra's former headquarters in Tracy, California. You're going to hear it first right here from Vaughan live today on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. But before we get into that, I want to do a big shout out to our sponsor for today's special edition, Forward Solutions Group. Forward Solutions Group is allowing us to deliver the examples of construction and consulting all across the building and construction industries. They have been driving companies to succeed where others have failed. So if you don't know Forward Solutions Group, you need to check them out. Forward Solutions Group has been in this industry, Joe Butler and Ben Hershey, and they also just had an acquisition and a launch of Moducore. So be sure to check out Forward Solutions Group. Reach out to Ben Hershey at forwardsolutionsgroup.com. All right, without further ado, let's bring in Vaughan Buckley. Good morning, Vaughan.
Good morning, mate. How are you?
Hey, it's early, man. I'm drinking my coffee. You're making me get up here at 5 a.m. to do a show with you. It better be good, buddy.
Well, it looks like you're on vacation. I'm enjoying it.
No, we are. I wish I was on vacation, but we are taking vacation next week. So we are going to take some time off. But you, my friend, have not had the opportunity for any vacation lately. It seems like VBC, Volumetric Building Companies, is just booming and booming and booming and growing and growing and growing. You have all kinds of stuff going on, to include one of the biggest buildings in that Philadelphia has ever seen on a modular aspect. So why don't you give us the lowdown on what's happening?
Yeah, I think that the last few years have been pretty intense for us. We've had about 2,000% growth over the last 5 financial years. And we got to a place earlier this year where we realized that our ability to continue growing the organization organically, which is what we've done since we commenced operations, really was being hamstrung by our internal resources, and that it was appropriate for us to start bringing on outside investment and support. And in this case, we have some great financial partners, and we went to see Katerra and saw what we originally envisaged as being an asset sale, where we would be essentially parting out machinery. And what we found was a really phenomenal factory. It was thoughtfully designed. There is an immense amount of variety in their product lines and extremely high level automation throughout. So it's now going to be VBC's new West Coast manufacturing operations.
So this is a huge building. I was just in Tracy, California, doing some work with Katerra and some other folks in that area. Mighty buildings. This is a big facility, Vaughan. There's several lines in this plant. There's a lot of space. I mean, give us a little insight on how you're going to use this facility and where you're headed with it. And then also, I think you have some video you can show us of what this facility is, and we can hop into that next.
Yeah, so I think it's tough to envisage or visualize just how large this facility is until you're there. It's about 600,000 square feet. That makes it about 3 times larger than our facility on the East Coast.
3 times.
3 times larger, which is about 4 times larger than the average modular factory in Pennsylvania. So, it's just a huge facility. And as a result of that, there is a substantial amount of space within the facility, with a little bit of material handling and some Kaizen activities in there. We can really get ourselves to a place where there's room for an entire modular manufacturing line within the existing plant. It has about 600,000 square feet, or almost 15 acres of paved outdoor surfaces around the plant. Just the outside paved parking lot is larger than certainly than our facilities on the East Coast. So massive plant.
So how many lines are in this plant, and what are the lines? Can you talk about the facility, and are you going to use all of the lines that Katerra originally had in place in there?
I think the goal is certainly to utilize all of the machinery that's there, but we need to be realistic about the turn on and the execution. And Katerra had some phenomenal ideas on how to progress the industry. And regardless of how how you felt about their operational execution or their business model, they were pushing the industry forward. So there are a lot of sort of amazing opportunities within the plant to control supply chain challenges that a lot of the factories that are around the country are currently experiencing. So some of the lines that are in there is a window production line. It takes glass and vinyl from raw goods to a finished window unit at the rate of about 250 windows per 8-hour shift with 10 people. It has a cabinet line, which takes raw good and raw panels into finished cabinetry at a rate of about 8,000 cabinets per single shift per month. It does that with less than 20 people. So, it's a highly efficient production line. There are plenty of other lines like automated countertop fabrication, trusses, floor lines, wall lines, lots of wall lines. Obviously, Katerra's primary model was panelization, so tons and tons of wall lines in both wood and steel. So I think that the key is going to be switching on the lines that make the most sense for the market that's there. We want to service the customers that Katerra already had and make it right for them. There's a lot that were impacted by the closure. And the same for the employees. We just want to make this right. And I think the way that we can do that is by bringing those folks back, supporting the existing clients, and then of course supporting VBC's existing clients on the West Coast. Even though we've never manufactured out there, we have a lot of design clients. We're a national firm as far as design, logistics, and integration is concerned. So adding that manufacturing component is a really natural progression for us.
Sure. This is a big investment, right? 25 million, I think, is what I read on the acquisition paperwork.
Yes.
With the acquisition of this, how do you take what happened to Katerra and how they did not succeed in that manufacturing plant, and how are you going to take that and turn it around so you do succeed? Are you going to look at things differently? The crawl, run, walk type scenario you were just explaining.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to unpack there. So when we talk about Katerra, and who they were, at heart they were a bunch of passionate entrepreneurs that were out to change the world, which is not dissimilar from how we think of ourselves. So I think that when you're talking about execution, Katerra went big, and big is an understatement when you're talking about sort of the size and dollars that they went through. So spending $2 billion, getting up to 6,000+ employees, multiple countries. And what I would go as saying beyond vertical integration is probably more total integration. There's a lot to do there. So I think that VBC is a little more targeted in our expectations for vertical integration. We can help solve our own and other supply chain issues for factories in the industry by building windows for them. That's not the same thing as trying to change the entire market to purchase only our buildings with only our windows in them. And I think that one of the biggest opportunities that Katerra had from this facility was to outsell individual building component lines. Yet they were very heavily focused on their product sales, on their building sales. And we're going to need to do both. We need to be selling building components and building materials while also maintaining the modular components. But if you're asking about what would make us succeed versus what happened there, this plant was not unprofitable. I think that there was the $2 billion did not go into this facility, right? This is a maybe $150 million total investment in this plant. There's two things that are going to make us successful. One is we're not spending another $1 billion or $2 billion somewhere else because we're focused very much on this plant. And the second is that we didn't spend 100 or 150 million on this plant. I think you mentioned the paperwork earlier. So there's a lot more efficiency here for us.
Yeah, for sure there is. So employees, getting the old past employees that have left the company back to get this operation running smoothly, the people that already know it inside and out, could be a very big deal for you if you can acquire some of those employees back. What is your game plan there to rehire? I mean, that's hundreds.
Yeah. So our website, if you go to vbc.co, That's our website, and the landing page will take you straight there. It announces the Katerra facility acquisition and encourages any former employees that would like to return to work at that facility or are interested in jobs in any of our divisions. We have an architecture and engineering division in Boston. We have a construction division in Philadelphia, and we have manufacturing on both the East and West Coasts. Any returning Katerra employee, there's a link right there on the homepage. They can click that, submit their resume, and I can't guarantee an immediate response, but I can tell you that we're very interested in working with everybody, and we're getting through those resumes as quick as we can, and getting folks back on board that we can.
Sure. How does this plant allow for VBC to service customers better, like not just on the West Coast? Are you going to stay in the California area, or do you see this plant feeding into Nevada and other states around the California area?
Yeah, I mean, I think when we're talking business model, modules are most efficient in areas where you're saving on the labor cost, and really it's an arbitrage between the efficiency of factory construction versus the cost of local site building. So where modules make the most sense on the West Coast is the California coastline. It's San Francisco, San Diego, LA. There are certainly other areas that we would service. I see the mountains of Colorado being another easy stretch for us to make. VBC is used to shipping thousands of miles. We have projects that go to Colorado from North Carolina all the time. So there are several jobs that we have that have had well over 1 million miles of trucking on them. So the idea of shipping further than California is not scary to us. But at the same time, there's so much demand in California. I'm not really sure that we'll be spending a ton of time in Nevada or Texas with this facility.
At this time, right. All right. So, Vaughan, you have some video that you can share with us in regards to what this facility looks like. So if you're just joining us, everybody, we are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already after the show. And if you are not following Volumetric Building Companies and you're not following Vaughan Buckley, you're wrong. You guys should be following them. They're making big headways in this industry, and they are helping to drive this industry forward, right? We can't keep being stuck where we've been for all these years, and it's great having people on like Vaughan. The only person I know, and he may not want me to say this, that has put a 2x4 through an oil truck while learning how to do modular construction years ago. That's one of my favorite stories. I love it. I almost fell out of my chair laughing when I heard it. A little insight on Vaughan Buckley. But
there's only so many ways to learn, and mistakes are high on the list. So, yeah.
That's a high one for sure. All right, let's get into it. I see you have the video loaded up here. So walk us through.
Yeah, so this is a longer video. I'll play probably the first 30 or 60 seconds of it and just share with you guys a little bit about the facility. As you can see, it's quite large. There's as much outside paved area as there is inside. Is that rolling for you?
Nope. Not on my end anyhow. While you're loading that up, the size and the lines of this facility, what do you think the output? Have you guys done the numbers on what the outputs can be once you convert this to modular or whatever lines you're going to use?
Yeah, I mean, there's the output capacity in the plant. We talked roughly about some of the individual lines, like the cabinetry line can do 8,000 cabinets on a single shift. So on a double shift on a full year, I mean, let's see how good I am at math. 200,000 cabinets a year roughly could come out of the facility. So I think the key for us is getting to a place where we can support really our industry in general that is suffering so badly on building components right now. I mean, our Windows suppliers who we're purchasing millions of dollars of Windows from on an annual basis are telling us, it'll be 28 weeks before we can get you that window for that project that we all know needs to go on the production line in less than 2 months. It's not something that we can start purchasing Windows 7-8 months out. And I think that's a challenge. So this will help us really sort of solve that bottleneck. And I think that's one of the key benefits of this facility.
Yeah, for sure. All right, listen, if you guys are joining us and you have questions about this acquisition, now's your time. This is a short episode. It's going to only be another 10, 15 minutes. So if you have questions or comments, let us know. Well, Vaughan, you got that loaded up, or you still need a second on it?
No, I think it's loaded up. I'm not going to put it in full screen in case that was our issue, but let's see how this works.
It's playing.
Great. So the facility has 50,000 square feet of office space and custom showrooms, modular display center, nearly 600,000 square feet of total real estate on the inside, and over 600,000 square feet of paved areas on the outside. It's right by the train tracks and has the capability for rail loading and is about an hour east of San Francisco. So really fantastic location, huge facility, and a ton of really cool machinery on the inside. I'm hoping that we can get you out there in the next couple of weeks to do some more in-person viewing of some of these machinery in action. In this case, you're seeing a truss machine. There's floor build machines. There's countertop fabrication machines. Cabinetry and everything else in between. So the factory has a huge variety of equipment and technology.
Yeah, I mean, look at the line. So you got the robotic arms, obviously feeding the floor truss line right there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I can perhaps share that link with your viewers here and get into some more stuff on a more detailed interview with you. But there's 9 lines. I'll skip through this video and show you a couple of the different ones that the facility has. The window machine is fascinating. You know, essentially that line is taking raw glass and converting it into finished windows. There's some Randex Zero labor lines. There's some Weimann lines. This is a Botero glass line to make insulated glass units. And there's a BSE cabinet shop line as well. They can make everything from casements, vinyl windows, patio doors, all in a almost fully automated production line.
Yeah. I mean, just getting the people that know how to operate all of this machinery and having enough people to do it is a challenge, right? If they've gone somewhere else, you know, because it'd be great to get those people back in that already know how to operate those machines in that area versus having to find new people and retrain.
You nailed it. That's one of the highest priorities. And we have been lucky enough that Katerra maintained a lot of the equipment. This is the robots that fabricate the countertops here as well, quartz production line. But we have a lot of those folks that were maintaining the lines have stayed with Katerra to keep all of the machinery running. So a lot of that sort of highly technical skills have been maintained within the company, but there are a lot of workers that were doing the day-to-day operations of the plant that have been out of work now for a couple of months. So it's our goal to get them back in there as quick as possible and keep the plant running.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, that is just a ton of space. You're going to need some scooters, man.
Yeah, 100%. There's scooters, and I think you can probably see a little bit when we talk about the Kaizen activities and getting some space back, because there's a lot of space in this plant.
Right. What is that machine there?
So what we're looking at now is some wall line gantries, basically where we can store essentially a library, insert the walls in that like a bookshelf.
Right.
Material storage. And a bunch of different production lines here. You can see more of an overhead view of the plant.
Yeah. So I think this is something that is going to, you know, really take a super large collaboration with your team, the manufacturers of all that equipment, right? To get it back up and running, to get your thought process really in place on where do you begin on something so large? What line do you begin on? What's the easiest thing to get moving? So I think between your teams that you have in-house, are you using anybody else to help you sort all of this?
Yeah, we've been very, very lucky to have some of the best consultants in the industry supporting us, and that includes the sponsors of this program, Forward Consulting. We had both Joe Butler and Ben Hershey physically at the facility and supporting us near around the clock, as our working in a bankruptcy situation and acquiring assets is unlike any other business transaction I've done. It's 20-hour days. It's just teams and teams of attorneys, and it's been a fun and fascinating process. But I'm glad that it's complete. And it's folks like Joe and Ben that make sure that we feel comfortable with a transaction like this. And that we can both ensure that Katerra is getting the appropriate compensation for what they've got, and that we're paying the right number for it. And that's a big part of the due diligence process.
Yeah, and again, thank you to Forward Solutions Group, Ben Hershey and Joe Butler. Literally, they're leaders in this industry, and Ben's been in it for a long time. His dad, one of the founders of the components industry, and I think it's awesome that they're helping you out as well. And just serendipitous, I guess, is the word that they're actually the sponsors of Wednesday's show. So double whammy for you guys. Well done. I appreciate that. All right, so let's talk about jobs that were in process with Katerra. Is there anything there that you're going to be picking up on and finishing, or does that all go to the wayside and you guys are starting fresh?
Yeah, so there is a bunch of work in process that was terminated at the time that the factory closed, and our intention is to donate that. We purchased it as part of the acquisition. Our intention is to donate that to the customers that were in trouble at the time that job was terminated. If they don't want it, we'll donate it somewhere else or recycle it. But it's our intention to give back all of the work in progress that we've purchased. In addition to that, we want to make it right for the customers and for the employees that were in the company as well. So any customers that need support getting their project back on track because they've had a few months delay should reach out. Anybody that wants us to support them in getting their project finished should reach out. VBC has a very strong execution arm. We came into this industry from the construction side as a general contractor. So our ability to execute around the country is quite strong.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, I think it's great. We're going to put people back to work. Hopefully we'll get projects back moving to where they need to go, because I'm sure some people really got hurt, and we've all been down that road in the 08 crisis and some other things, and don't like that at all. And hopefully you guys can not only employ people, but you're also looking to help people grow. And when I mean help people grow, you have a ton of office space there. What's your intention with all? How many people can it hold?
500. We have an office space for nearly 500.
For 500 people, and then you get a factory for another 500, 1,000 people. What are you going to do with all that space, Vaughan?
Yeah, so I think that's one of the exciting things we have about this plant is the fit out was phenomenal. It was designed to be Katerra's sort of international headquarters, so it was going to have a ton of folks that were based out of it. It's about an hour east, as we talked about, of San Francisco proper, and there's a lot of tech companies in that area that are getting squeezed out of office space and trying to find somewhere to go. So construction tech companies should reach out. We'll find a home for them. There's tons of space we have in our building. We'd love to support the construction tech industry. And if you're sick of paying San Francisco rents and want to come hang out in the coolest mega factory on the West Coast, come check us out.
Hey, I'm looking for a new studio. You got some space I can put my studio in there?
100%. We've got 24 conference rooms. We'll find something cool. Lots of glass, and lighting. Because for you, I think lighting is very important. You do a great job with that.
Thank you. Thank you. Kind words, Vaughan. Kind words. All right, let's go to some comments and some hellos, and then we're going to wrap this up in about 6 minutes. So, all right, let's put it up there, Jen. Ooh, Ben Hershey. Congratulations, Vaughan and the VBC. Wishing you trillions of board feet of success. Fantastic. I love that. Trillions of board feet. Ben, thank you so much, and thank you for always sponsoring us. Joe Butler as well. You're up early, man. What's up? Hello, all, he says. Joe Hodgins. Vaughan, have you acquired the turnkey facility or a lease?
It's a lease. The building is owned by Prologis, an industrial landlord. When you say acquired the turnkey facility, we've acquired the turnkey assets within the facility, and we are leasing the building.
All right. Good to see you, Joel. Thank you. Gary Fleischer, the mod coach in the house. Vaughan, it sounds like you're adding horizontal integration with Katerra's factory to your East Coast vertical integration.
You're not wrong. And I think that, if you'd have asked me 2 years ago, would we have even considered horizontal integration when Katerra was choosing to do it, I would have said, hell no. But after the last year of having projects that can't get off the ground because you can't get cabinets or windows in time, and I think all of our colleagues have been suffering that lately, starts to make a lot of sense.
Well, that's it. Damian Stapleton. Vaughan Buckley, at a macro level, it is so important for the industry to see this move being successful. The very best of luck in making it so. Thank you, Damian. Rick Hawkins. Hey, Rick, it's been some time since I've seen you pop up. Glad to have you. Best wishes for successful integration of their operations to your forward-looking vision. Appreciate you, Rick. Joel Hutchins, another question. Your website, you say you have acquired Katerra Inc. does include some of the technology and software. So does it include some of the IP technology and software, I would imagine?
Yeah, so the language that we're using is Katerra Inc. assets. Katerra Inc. is a massive company and has many more assets other than the Tracy facility. So this is the Tracy facility, but it does include about 21 or so of their patents. And it does include the K3 product line. It does include some of their technology. It does not include some of the software that they were creating, including the Apollo program. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that one, but Katerra
like the space program.
Yeah, it might as well have been. It was 350 million or so, and it was a software program that was proprietary to Katerra, which we are not acquiring.
Got it. Great. Thank you for the question, Joel. Al Tunisu, hey buddy, hope you are doing well all the way from, if you're still in Vietnam, good morning, he says. Yes, it is morning where I'm at as well. Va Marcosian, I believe is how you say that. Excited to be part of Vaughn's awesome team and take on this new challenge. Well, Va, thank you so much. Diana Fissler, good to see you, Diana. With the cabinet shortage, any chance you would produce for external sale? Great question.
Yeah. That is 100% the intention. I think that's the key to this factory's success is that each of those business lines in there is treated as a business line. I think that one of the biggest challenges that Katerra faced was the mixed outputs on those production lines. So you could have the wall panels running at 100%, but you still only needed 5% of your window capacity. So the windows must be sold independently, as must the cabinetry. So 100% they will be sold independently and to third parties.
Is that line the Kona line that they used to have? I think it was called Kona. They were at IBS when we were out there a couple of years ago. But I sat down and interviewed them, and the cabinets are beautiful.
Yeah, the cabinets are really very nice. It's BSE that runs the line.
Got it. Perfect. George Ryman, the window line was to be one of the most advanced window manufacturing production lines in the world. True or false, Vaughan? Do you know that to be true?
I'm going to say I wouldn't disagree. I won't go as far as fact checking it, but I can tell you that as a non-window manufacturing guy, going into a factory and seeing raw glass getting turned into a window by robots was pretty cool.
That is cool. That is cool. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Michael Rue Jr., this is incredible news. This is a positive tide change. You know, Michael, that is such an important message to put out there because, you know, other people's failures turn into a lot of other people's success, right? It's the old, some people's junk is other people's treasure. And the reality of it is, Vaughan, you have a track record of being successful. You have a track record of taking nothing and turning it into something, right? Which you did with VBC just over the course of, when did you start VBC? It's not even been that long, 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, we started doing outside general contracting in 2015. The company was around since 2008, but in 2015 was really when we started working.
Right, so... And you're still going strong and you're doing great. You're doing great work. So I think this is a huge success story waiting to happen. And I'm pulling for that by far. I think the cards are in your favor. The house is stacked, as they say here in Vegas. That's where I'm at.
Excellent. Right. Thank you. We've had a ton of support from the industry and from our colleagues and you know, we refer to them as colleagues. Some people might call them competitors, but I think that really we're all in this industry together. So we're excited to collaborate. I think there's a lot to learn for us, and probably a lot more 2x4 in the oil tank type mistakes that we can make for others to help them do better as well. So it's going to be a great opportunity for everyone, I think.
Yeah, I agree. All right, we got about a minute left here. Jerry Dunn, depending on the lease terms, could be the deal of the decade.
No comment.
No comment. Etienne, what's happening to Etienne? Wow, that is big news. Good to see you, Etienne. Great having you on. Ken Semler, Impressa Modular. Congratulations, Vaughan. Big news for the West Coast and beyond.
Thanks, Ken. Appreciate it, mate.
Not sure who this person is. Where does the Midwest fit into your plans?
I would love to see us out there. I think that, you know, one of the reasons why we're one of the more successful companies or on the East Coast from a multifamily modular perspective is because we are exclusively multifamily modular. And so when we're looking at at the capability to succeed out there and why there aren't a lot of other companies doing that on the East Coast, it's because it's a tough market, right? There's the cost of construction on the East Coast is just lower than it is on the West Coast. And I think the Midwest is really even lower than the East Coast in a lot of places. So for the Midwest to work for modular manufacturing, the industry in general has to get better at the efficiency that it can produce out of a factory. And there are some companies in the Midwest doing really well at that. I mean, Rise is doing a great job, and there's a few others out there as well that are producing and making sense of it. I think that the West Coast is an easier place to make sense of modular manufacturing. And then, places like Colorado, potentially Chicago, Minneapolis, and a few others have a lot of opportunity, but it requires us as an industry to do better before this can be a mainstream construction method nationwide.
Oh, that's it. Collaboration is going to get us a lot further than what we've been doing. All right, Michelle Knapp. Sorry about that, calling you Michael. What's the matter with me at 6 a.m.? Does the deal include HVAC products that were in development?
I think Michelle's referring to the KTAC product, which was a Katerra exclusive product. That particular one was sold with their renovations division. A lot of the other patents were included in the purchase as part of the K3 product. But we're still working on whether that means we have access to the KTAC supply chain or not, but it is not included in our purchase.
Perfect. Tiffany McCall, congratulations, Vaughan. Excited to follow your success.
Thanks, Tiffany.
All right, this will be our last question today from Tim Sims, who has been in this industry a long time and a great person. Great to see you again, Vaughan. Long time since Vegas. What is the biggest need you have right now?
Sleep, probably.
And I love it. You're going to end it right there. Oh, you said you're working 20-hour days. There's a whole lot going on, and growing a company and picking up this acquisition, I'm sure just adds to the workload trying to pull it all together. But I'm sure it'll level out at some point for you.
It will. We're getting there. Coming onto the tail end of this process has been great, and it's amazing what doing 20-hour days, 7 days a week for a couple of months will do to you. Now, 12 hours feels like a day off. So it's been a lot of fun. We're used to it. We'll do fine, and we'll keep it moving. But thank you very much, Dave. I appreciate you getting up at 6 a.m. to chat about this.
Hey, listen, I knew it had to be for a good reason once we talked yesterday. So I really appreciate you taking the time coming here to talk about it live first on Dave Cooper Live. We are trying to drive this industry forward, and people like Vaughan Buckley are making a difference in the built environment with us. And we're looking to continue driving that along. And also, again, a thank you to Forward Solutions Group for allowing us to deliver these examples of construction and innovation. Forward Solutions Group is successfully driving companies to succeed where others have failed. Learn more about Forward Solutions Group and contact Ben Hershey at forwardsolutionsgroup.com, Ben at forwardsolutionsgroup.com. All right, with that, Vaughan, I know you're a busy guy and it's just the start of your day. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you, hopefully in California in the next couple of weeks. I think it's time to really showcase what you guys are doing.
Yeah, I think that would be great. And let's get all those manufacturers out there as well. We'll make sure those vendors come and see you too.
That's it. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in this morning. We will see you again in just a few hours at 1 p.m. Eastern. I get my time frame right. 10 a.m. Pacific Coast. We will be live. We have another special announcement with Steve Glenn from Plant Prefab. That's right. Dave Cooper Live is becoming the place to where people want to put their message out first. So make sure you tune in with us. And we're going to talk a little bit about hemp in that show as well and have a good time doing it. Vaughan, hang tight. I'll come right back to you after the outro here. We'll talk soon. Bye, everybody.